Otakoclock, we're back again.
We are.
Hello. It's going well.
Yep.
For me, how's it going for you guys?
School.
Nice. Winter
Teaching.
anime season is currently in progress, so we thought we'd do a little bit of talking about our impressions of the season so
Like
far.
every single other anime YouTube channel on the face of the earth.
It's an essential.
It
But
is.
we're college educated, so ours counts for more.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And I have a film degree, so I know what I'm talking about.
I've taken an anime class from a film professor.
So have I.
So yeah, we're trying to bring a little bit of academic rigor into the world of anime reviews.
Academic rigor.
Academic rigor.
Anime
Just
is shit.
Believe
so
us.
am I.
Just believe us.
That was a college
But,
gig if you've ever
yeah,
watched
so-
this stuff.
Yeah, Gigic's good. But so I think I'm just gonna start.
Have fun.
Because
Yeah.
I'm pretty solid on my top 3 and bottom 1. So do we want to start with tops or bottoms? So we start a good note or a bad note?
Let's start on a bad
Okay,
note because I
Osame.
think those are funnier.
All right, bad note. So
Okay.
for me, the bottom anime of this season is Ramen Daisuki no Kozumi-san.
That's a bold
It's
statement. lot of
it's a
people are liking
ramen.
A lot of
It's a
people
show
really
about
like
ramen. It's a food show. If you like
It's
ramen
like,
and you
yeah.
like ramen that looks good animated, it looks good. But I could not get behind it because I loathed the main character. The main character is really one note and honestly a tool.
I got
like
that.
just
Yeah.
she
But
hates everyone. She doesn't care about anything and like.
Hey, you're right.
Well, she's not funny or sarcastic about it either. She's just mean
Now,
about it.
So,
See?
Sam
Hey!
with tits who
So
likes
wait a minute.
ramen.
No.
I am
no,
extraordinarily sarcastic and witty.
Yeah, but so for me, the good-looking ramen just wasn't enough to get past the one-note nature of the show and the character
Stop
that I didn't like. So that's my bottom 1. Top 3, my third anime is Slow Start. It's a slice of life. But it is a really well-animated slice of life. There's none of the really weird off squish and stretch things that are obviously a frame too long or a frame into the still. The far shots don't have the really weird, almost stick figure people. There's pretty good wind animation, facial animation in general. It's really pretty, and it's a slice of life with an adequate plot that suffices.
I heard that it had high production quality.
Yeah.
I
It
haven't seen it
definitely
myself, but I hear that they put a lot of money and time into it.
It's a really comfortable show, so that's my third. And then my second is Darling in the Franxx, because, oh my goodness, Darling in the Franxx is amazing,
course.
and I love it. It's a partnership between A1 and Trigger, so it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
And
Because
it's kids fucking in
they
robots.
they
so-
share yeah
Wait,
they
kids
share
are fucking robots in this?
in the robots.
Oh.
That's how they power the mech suits.
butt handles.
What?
You haven't seen the butt handles.
I don't want to see the butt handles.
You do want to see the butt handles.
I don't
Handles
wanna-
spring from a girl's butt as the guy sits behind her with the handles.
I don't want to be on a government watch list, so I think I will give
But
this one a pass.
so
you weren't already on there for the Ero Manga Sensei stuff?
You're right.
yeah, but it's because it's a partnership between two studios that do different things.
Well,
Both-
and also one of the studios that was basically the landmark mecha anime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the fight scenes are beautifully animated,
'Cause they
and
were.
then the person scenes with the people in them and the characters are also beautifully animated because
they went
both
and Trigger.
because they went and did a partnership, and
Yep.
it's a completely original plot. So it is not an adaptation of anything, which is something I enjoy because it means we're watching it live. We don't have people spoiling it for us because nobody has spoilers for it.
That seems to
And
be
they
a
don't
trend,
also
too.
have to wait for the manga to
Yeah,
catch
and
up.
they already have a vision, so it's very coherent because they don't have to put in filler or anything.
Yep.
And so I love it. The plot's really good. Watch it. It's very explicitly a metaphor for relationships.
Yeah.
Like it makes no bones about it.
Yeah.
But that's part of what makes it good because it doesn't dance around the subject.
You know, a girl with butt handles being piloted by a guy inside a mecha suit.
And if the two don't like each other, it doesn't work.
It's a very clear metaphor for modern relationships. I don't see how you could.
Yeah. But it shares a common theme with my number 1 anime, which is A Place Further Than the Universe,
had
in
experience
that
with
it is
butt
also
handles.
an original. It's also an original series, and A Place Further Than the Universe for me is my number 1 spot, even over Darling in the Franxx, because
that.
it is so utterly both realistic and compelling.
See, I haven't heard anything about
it. It
this
follows the story of 3 teenage girls who want to go to Antarctica to find the mother of one of them who disappeared on the last Japanese Antarctic expedition 3 years ago.
Sounds like a mystery setup.
It's not a mystery setup. It's them
really
trying to get
adorable.
onto the next Antarctic expedition despite being high school girls.
Oh, okay.
So it's high school girls doing cute things, but in an icy wasteland.
It's
sounds
not even
really
a cute thing though, because it captures the theme of the show is do something with your life while you're still young, and so it's about the main character is a girl who has always been too afraid to try things, and so she decides to take a step and she just dives in. And it just so perfectly captures the kind of the feelings and the way people act in high school and like the feeling of going on an adventure.
Well, and the animation
so perfectly.
beautiful.
Yeah, no, the animation. There's nothing wrong with the animation at all. You don't have to overlook the animation for the sake of the plot because the animation is more than sufficient. It's
stunning in
very
areas,
well
too.
animated, and just the characters are so compelling, and the plot it's grounded. The plot, there's not magic. There's not fighting. There's no harems.
There is
Antarctica, but that's a real thing that exists, and it's 3 very real feeling girls struggling to get to Antarctica with the actual struggles of that a high school girl trying to get to Antarctica would have, namely that scientists go to Antarctica, not high schoolers.
So you're telling me that the barren, frozen wastelands of Antarctica do not set well for a harem anime?
Yes, they don't set
well. You can't get jiggy with it when your skin is freezing
honestly,
off.
it's almost... It's hard to describe the character interactions because they're just
sure
so
there's that
good
out there.
that I feel like describing them in greater detail would be spoiling you if you haven't seen it yet. Describing it in more detail, the character interactions, because that's what's so essential to the plot. So I'm just gonna leave off with that.
And
we're
move
gonna
on
go
to Sam.
Oh, sure. Okay. So I'm going to start with my bottom one, too, because it is contentious and designed intentionally to get me hate online, that is what thrives me and brings me life. So my most hated anime of this, set is easily the new Fate Stay. The new Fate.
Oh, of course.
Whatever.
Fate Stay Encore, I think.
That's what it is.
Something like
Fate
that.
Stay
Or is it-
Encore.
I thought it was just Fate Encore.
It might
It
be.
might be just Fate Encore.
Fate-
No, it's Fate Grand Order Encore.
Fate
It's Fate,
adjective.
yeah.
Sure.
And this is, I
Fate
think, part of the reason you don't.
something.
Yeah, I think this is part of the reason you don't like it
It
because
has a new director, though.
I don't care.
It's kind of new.
I'm not trying to shit on the director. He may be completely talented. I'm not familiar with his work, to be honest. But I've seen all the Fate stuff up till here, and they're just eye candy. The stories are watered down and ham-hocked.
Well, it was literally based off of basically a porno, so
visual novel. It's not a porn, technically speaking. It's not one of the porny visual novels. It was a more action romance. But there were shady stuff in it, but it's not one of those. It isn't. I'll give it credit where credit is due. Okay, it is not a porno visual novel. But the Fate Stay stuff, the stories are very convoluted, very
there's like 3,000 characters.
There are,
and are all the variation of the same 36 characters, so they all have the same name.
And they even have the same 3 characters in there, like repeatedly. Like it's almost
Saber.
it's almost like a weird anthology sort of thing. And my perspective as to why this is my bottom one is why do we need another Fate Stay Zero? Why do we need another eye candy? Why do we need more of this convoluted? It's just sort of their anime. The Fate series never tries to say anything. They never try to do anything new.
At least with a lot of the long-running series, they still had something that kept drawing you back. I'm not sure what brings anyone back to Fate.
The fight scenes.
The visuals. It is
that's
why I say they're eye candy. They are just visuals.
But in this season there are so many absolutely brilliantly beautiful shows. There's no need to go to Fate.
Exactly.
You've got Violet Evergarden, you've got Darling the Franxx, you've got A Place Farther Than the Universe.
That was Violet, not Violent.
Violet Evergarden, yes.
Violent Evergarden!
Adam and Eve, throw down tonight in the Violet Evergarden!
So, unlike some seasons,
give him the snake!
so
she counters with an apple to the face.
Okay, enough.
So unlike some seasons where Fate is going to be the most pretty thing you see,
it is.
It's not.
It's not,
and it has nothing else to offer you. Whereas every other good, well animated show this season has something to offer you.
Something new.
And I feel as though I should qualify is that I'm not saying that Fate is particularly bad. I'm saying compared to a lot of the other quality material we're getting this year, Fate just isn't up to snuff.
And you're just tired of it.
Yeah. I'm just
It's
I'm tired of it.
What
and
is it, like
B,
the 50th thing that's
There's
come
like
out?
at least 17 of them.
Well, no, but like if you
that.
like scroll down the Wikipedia page, including visual novels, including
There's so
mangas,
much,
including
yeah.
games, all the different iterations, there's like 50 or 60 things, and you're just like,
And you know what?
But-
I don't have any room to talk with that because I'm a DBZ fan. We are by no means foreign to saturation of a market.
yeah.
But at the same time, Dragon Ball Z is at least a continuous plot that tries to add in new elements. Tries, not always succeeds. But
Fate feels a
which
little
is-
bit like comics in that they're constantly rebooting and adding alternate universes.
how many
to
times
deal
has
with
Superman
things.
died? How many times has Saber died? How many times has he gotten the goddamn Grail? It's just it's all the same story rehashed with different like minor supporting elements. Anyway, enough about Fate and the what it has become. My number 3 was the Junji Ito, and this was I should mention that I compiled this list before the winter anime actually came out. I will probably retcon that to be Devilman Crybaby now, but I have more to talk about with Junji Ito. It's a disappointment. Sadly, I still like Junji Ito. I still think they did a lot of really cool stuff visually in the
The first
in the series.
episode was not the best for the adaptation.
It was not, but if you keep going on, it does get better. It does. They do have some creepy visuals, and what you go to Junji Ito for is to have those stomach-churning, disgusting visuals. And you know what? It is not a perfect adaptation. It's probably not even a very good adaptation. But if you're going there to be grossed out, it'll do it for you. It will. And again, if I had actually waited to compile the list until after the anime came out, this would easily be Devilman Crybaby for my number 3.
Which we have a little bit to talk about that if we have time at the end. But
Yeah, yes, we do. And Brendan, what was the name of that second anime that I talked about?
it's. I don't ever remember the name of it, but it's the one about the tiny girls.
Yeah, it's the tiny
the tiny girls.
Mikotatsu something, I think.
It was
Yeah.
the little fairies that live in the
Right.
in like the little world, and they do household things together, and it's so cute.
Yeah,
It is
It's
adorable.
cute girls doing cute things. Only the girls are now 3 feet tall or
Yeah.
3 inches
It's
tall.
like the borrowers and Arietti, but yeah. It's like Arietti and the borrowers and all those cute things, but like an anime.
It is. So, and my number 2 anime, and pardon me if I butcher the name, is Hakume to Mikochi. And this anime is, to put it simply, is imagine the Keebler elves if they were adorable
What?
chibi high school girls in an anime. You know, the Keebler
What?
elves, the
They
little
live in a
elves
tree.
in the tree.
Why couldn't you
with,
just
like,
say
cookies.
borrowers? Like,
I haven't
it's such a better reference
I
than
haven't.
Keebler Elves.
I haven't seen Borrowers, and
Oh, but it's a book series. Like,
I haven't read Borrowers. There you go. That should show you I haven't read it. And the Keebler Elves have more wide popular appeal, and more people would understand the
What?
reference.
But yeah,
it's-
it's cute girls doing cute things. Only they're tiny.
They're fairies.
They're tiny little fairies that frolic
Fluff.
frolic in the forest.
Yeah. It's an adorable anime. It has a beautiful artistic vision. It's just good. Like, it's just an anime that you can sit down at the end of a long day, relax and watch it, and feel kind of nice before you go to bed. That's all that there is to it. It's very simple. It's very artistic. I believe it's original content. I don't think it's based off of anything.
I believe it's original.
Yeah, it's an original piece again, which seems to be a weird recurring theme of this season. A lot of
Yeah,
original pieces.
next episode we're going to be talking about some of our impressions on the season.
On that,
and
exactly, yes.
the-
But to put it short, my number 2, to try and keep a little bit quick, it's just good.
It's just good. It's good.
Yeah,
It's good thing. Watch.
Indeed. And my number 1 to bring
Sam,
it to the finale.
he butchers names a lot, so
I do.
He's trying not to butcher them, but he's going to butcher them anyway.
And I'm just
How are you
gonna
gonna butcher
I'm just
that
gonna
one?
pronounce the English one because I had the Japanese one too. It's the 7 Deadly Sins season 2. I am very much looking forward to it. It looks really good. I was a huge fan of the original 7 Deadly Sins. I know a lot of people say it's very bland, which I think it is, but it's just
You liked it
Wasn't
anyway.
a huge fan.
yeah, it's just a decent shonen. The characters are likable. I love Greed. He's
And
really
Sam
good.
is nothing if not a shonen fan.
I am a shonen
true.
fan. I do love shonens. I think they're a hallmark in what anime is. And I think that this show, I don't think it's going to be the next Dragon Ball Z or anything like that, but I think for a lot of young kids just getting into anime, I think they will gravitate towards 7 Deadly Sins. And I think it may be a lot of people's first shonen. And as shonens go, I think that's completely fine.
That's actually Sword Art Online for a lot of people.
Yeah, but Sword Art Online is bad.
I know, but that's like their intro anime for a lot of people.
I agree, but people that are just coming into anime now, because let's face it, SAO's time has passed.
Thankfully,
It
been
has.
buried.
I think that
It's
people
gone.
will gravitate towards anime. Like
And
this.
since Black Clover just absolutely fell on his face and died,
It did.
While
Seven
screaming.
Deadly Sins is there to take up the flag.
He didn't just fall on his face; he was screaming the entire way down.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, and I think that I would be fine with seeing more anime like Seven Deadly Sins because it's not overtly tropey. It's not
What about My Hero Academia?
My Hero Academia is the better of the two for sure. My Hero Academia is the shonen of the season.
There's no My Hero Academia this winter, so you know.
There's not.
Because they just had a tournament on.
Yeah, they just finished.
They need to recharge their creative juices.
Yeah.
But in the interim, I think animes like Seven Deadly Sins are totally fine. If you need a shonen fix and you want to see like very interesting medieval characters beating each other's faces in with over-the-top powers, you could definitely go to that. And is it amazing? No, but it's still good. It's still definitely like watchable.
Yeah. So for me, I don't actually have that much of a concrete list, more because I didn't really have a whole lot of time to watch.
She's not on the seasonal train at the moment.
Yeah. It's way too much to keep up with, and I work a full-time job all the time. I'm an adult, much to my, like, displeasure. But
you can't
it's
stay on the seasonal anime train anymore.
Yeah, no, so I've only been able to catch bits and pieces of a couple. I do know that I am going to watch Violet Evergarden, and that would probably make it on my list, because I like the more slower, like, talking shows, and that's what it seems. Animes, yeah. And it's a really beautiful anime, but I haven't seen it, so I can't really so I can't really say one way or the other because I haven't actually seen it yet. For my bottom, though, I would actually probably, and this is kind of a little bit controversial, but I would actually probably pick Orange, just because there's so many better...
Citrus?
Really?
Sorry, citrus. Citrus, not orange.
Orange is a citrus. You got real close.
Sorry, yeah, citrus. Citrus. Not Orange. Orange came out a couple seasons ago. Mm-hmm. Citrus, the one that came out this season, just because there's so many better lesbian love stories to
or Sakura Trick.
Yeah, there's so many better to actually adapt, and it's based around abuse, and I don't like that. And even though it's prettily animated, it's still a story about abuse between cousins, and I'm like, why?
There are so many Yuri animes that don't involve sexual assault. And why couldn't you have gotten one of those adapted instead?
And then, on the other end, the only other one I've actually been able to watch this season is the interesting Devilman Crybaby. And I say interesting because I actually had a rather different take on it than it seems like most. Like, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching it. I can see its artistic merits. And I wanted to talk about it relentlessly with literally everyone, but none of my friends had seen it. So that was... difficult.
It is hard.
But ultimately, at the end, I kind of put it in the same category as when I watched Utano, where I saw its merit, I wanted to talk about it a ton, but I also didn't really like it enough to want to suggest it to anyone. Like, I don't want to recommend it to people just because it was such an emotional ride.
It's a hard watch.
That I couldn't... Yeah,
I totally understand. I got the same impression too, although I have a heart of stone and have no soul. So for me, I'm like, this is just fine. But
it is not for everyone.
It's
a very dark anime, a very serious
It's nihilistic.
Anime.
It is nihilistic. It is dark. It starts from dark themes from literally start to end. Mm-hmm. It starts off like the first scene is a cat dying. And they are just okay about it.
It goes downhill from there.
Yeah, no, it gets worse. The first scene, and this is not a spoiler, it is the literal first scene, is the main character arguing with his best friend not to butcher a cat because it's just dying. And that's that's really a good way to look at it. That's the opener. That is their first card. And they have a whole hand left to play before the show is over.
So it's tough, and honestly the reason why I couldn't suggest it is because some of the themes weren't particularly something that I enjoy watching, like again, assault and abuse and all of that stuff. Well, I mean, besides the gore that I could kind of excuse, but just in general, the themes, a lot of them were really difficult for me to watch, so I couldn't really suggest it to people, but I can see why people love it so much.
Yeah, I would actually suggest it to people, but let them know what they're getting into. Make it very clear.
Don't be just like, oh, just trust me and go watch it.
Please don't treat this like Boku no Pico. Just don't do it.
Well, you shouldn't do... No! Like, that one you should do...
Anyway, this episode is getting long enough as it is, so we should probably wrap up. But with that... Again, with Devilman Crybaby, a lot of people have declared it the anime of the season already. And I can see where you're coming from, but don't just tell people to watch it on blind faith.
No, don't.
That's how you lose friends.
Yeah, let them know that there's assault, that there is sexual assault in this, that there is violence, sexual violence. They need to know going in. This
exactly
is a
what it
hard
is.
Be considerate of
Yeah.
your friends. Let them know what they're getting into before you make them watch it.
To clarify, you should never send Boku no Pico to anyone
under
any parents, under any circumstances.
Exactly.
Don't do the thing.
I wasn't suggesting it.
Yeah,
I wanted to make clear, no, don't ever suggest
do
it,
the
period.
thing.
Yeah, so that's how we're going to end it with that.
Don't do Boku no Pico.
With those little nice content warnings for Devilman Crybaby.
Yep.
We will see you guys next week.
Yep.
See you guys.